Welcome back, you guys.
What's going on, people? We are in the building. Listen, Key and Will, we are so excited y'all came back for another episode.
Hey, you guys, we have a special guest in the building tonight. But first, want to make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Leave some interesting information and comments below, and we are ready to get started.
All right, so listen, we are super excited. We have the one and the only Edgar Butler Jr. in the building.
Welcome, Edgar. Welcome to the Key and Will podcast.
Yeah, listen, I'm so glad this brother is extremely busy, yes. And he took the time to come out and sit with us and share a little knowledge. Edgar, let's just go there, man. Well, before we give it to him, tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit of background about yourself.
So I am Edgar Butler Jr. I always throw the junior on there just because I am a junior and I'm separate from my...
I'm a junior as well.
Okay, all right. So we understand.
I respect that.
Right?
Put some respect on my name.
Exactly.
I am a people development coach, I would say.
Okay.
And so I like to use the term people development because really it's not about one demographic. Gotcha. I'm really into the business of helping people develop and grow from whatever aspect they are in. And so one of the areas that I do work in is in the corporate arena, but just helping people to develop and understand what it means to lead from your lane.
Love it.
Regardless of, being in leadership or whether you're in, in an entry-level role, whatever it is, but just understanding how to lead from your lane. So for me, it was a transition from saying that I am a executive coach, I am an employee development coach. No, I am a people coach.
I love that.
To be able to help people where they are.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. So, Edgar, where are you from? You from Atlanta? You from where you from, brother?
I am from Florida, from Lakeland, Florida. Central Florida.
Another Florida boy right here. Awesome.
Yes.
Lakeland. So how long so where do you reside now?
I reside in Swanee, Georgia right now. So I'm in
Swanee
right now.
Awesome.
So came up here in 2010 from Florida. And so it's been a great ride since we've been here.
Gotcha.
Awesome. So how did you get into that lane of people development? And explain to us a little bit about, what is your focus specifically?
Yes.
Yep.
So really, I would say learning lessons.
Okay.
That have pushed me into a place to where now it is time for me to give back.
Yes.
So coming into the corporate arena for me was different. I came from a warehouse background. I was used to working 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 5-6 days a week, 10, 12-hour days of physical labor.
Yeah.
So transitioning into the corporate arena, it was a different world for me. But it was something that I felt that I could thrive in based on the work ethic that I had.
Gotcha.
Now, going into a corporate arena, corporate America, and being able to grow my career. So in like the first 9 years, I had like 8 different roles. So I learned a lot about transitioning, right? And how to operate in the corporate arena. But one thing that really challenged me was when I got into the leadership role.
Right.
And what I realized was I accepted the opportunity, but not the responsibility.
Wow. Epiphany.
So
an aha moment.
Yes.
Right?
It was, okay, I'm like, leadership is my goal, right?
Yes.
And I want to get there and I want the money and I want the title, but not understanding that it came along with a responsibility of developing people.
Wow.
And I really wasn't prepared for that. And so I would say my first year in leadership, I struggled, right? Of managing, trying to not realizing that there was a difference between managing policies and procedures and leading people.
Right.
I was trying to manage everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I made a lot of mistakes in that first year. And so that's when I started to realize that as a young leader coming in, I really was not equipped with the tools that I needed to be successful. So I started to look at organizations and saying, if you really want to thrive as an organization, there has to be an understanding that you provide your leaders with what they need to be successful. Right. And that is coming in and understanding that you manage policies and procedures, but you lead people.
Yeah. And I think, that's you make a great point because as leaders, when you said that, I was like, boom, that's most of us when we first get into leadership, We're trying to get the money.
Yeah.
Right?
So we'll
it's
take
like
it. Yeah,
whether you want to supervise a manager, director, whatever the role
VP,
is,
whatever.
it's about getting that money, right? Getting that paycheck.
That's the immediate.
But not really understanding that there's a process. There's a responsibility that you have to develop, to instruct, to lead.
Yes.
And what tends to happen in organizations is they take that individual contributor who's really good at X and just assume, oh, I'm going to make that person the manager.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're going to be the best manager. Right. They may can do that thing well, but to your point, there's a responsibility and there's an education piece to understand that, hey, I have to develop my own self and then also develop the people around me.
Yes, definitely.
In that first year that you became a leader and you accepted that new role, what was your biggest challenge where you were like, oh my God, I'm struggling? I thought, I think innately we believe that we're leaders. I think most of us, have just an innate, ability to lead people in some capacity, or we believe that we do.
Yes.
And until we're put to the test.
Yes.
Until we're put to the test. So what was that aha moment for you where you were like, I'm going to have to pivot and do something different?
I think it was when trying to mesh 20 different personalities together, right? And understanding that there was a goal that, I wanted us to accomplish, but I had not bought into the people for them to buy into the vision. So yes, we had a goal and I had what I thought we needed to do, but they were not fully engaged in that because for one, it was like, you're wanting us to care about something, but you're not showing that you care about us.
Oh, yeah.
That's deep right there.
That's so deep.
That's deep.
So for me, it was like, okay, there's a disconnect here. I'm missing something.
Right.
And really, it was the connection with the people. So as I and I think another thing was that I felt that I was great at what I did. Just like you said, Willa, like you take that high performer, right? And then you put them into this role. So I was a high performer. So my expectations were, oh, you should be performing like I'm performing. Right.
Yeah.
But not really understanding that I haven't taken the time to know you as a person, as an individual, to understand what are your skills and talents. How can I help best position you that you're going to provide the greatest success for or the greatest value to the goal, but also the greatest success for yourself.
Gotcha.
So I was just looking at it as, oh, you should come in and be great.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
And so that was the mistake that I made, and just realizing that there was a disconnect with the people. And so one thing I came up with was self-awareness. Yes, definitely. So I said, you know what? I can manage you to the mile, but if I want the people to go beyond the mile with me, I got to start leading, and I needed to change some things within myself, and so that was an eye-opening thing for me.
Yeah,
I love it. I feel like oftentimes as leaders, we don't take a step back to be self-aware.
Yes.
We wonder, well, what's wrong with everybody else? I'm the leader. I'm giving direction. I think I'm being clear. I think that I have goals and that I've set forth for my group, but we're not progressing or we're not successful. But we haven't taken a moment to say, what am I doing wrong and what can I do differently? Absolutely. So you did that, and what did you decide to do differently?
Step away from policies and procedures and metrics and numbers, and say, let me get to the heart of my people.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take a moment and let's have a heart to heart. Let me learn your heart.
Right.
Wow.
Before I want you to show me your heart. Right. I want you to show me all that you have, but I first need to learn about you as an individual, and then as a team, as a collective.
Right.
So I would take meetings, and I'm like, no metrics, no numbers. We're not talking any of that. I want to know about you. What's on your mind? Yeah. What's going on right now?
That's huge.
It is so key.
And I think a lot of leaders miss that. And they think just because I have the title of supervisor, I have the title of manager, that basically is all that's needed.
Yes.
But it's like if you can't connect to the people, that
You can't do
you can't do anything.
Yes.
A true leader has the ability to influence. If you can't influence your team,
Right.
if you can't if you
know
can't
that's right.
influence your team,
Yes.
you're really just
Yeah.
you just holding the title.
That's it.
Because you got to be able to get everybody on the same page and say, hey guys, in order to follow these policies and procedures, we all need to make sure we're all a unit
Yep.
and we're on the same page.
Yes.
And I feel, and just from experience, all of the three of us have been in leadership positions or are currently in leadership positions. You can't, if your people don't think that you've bought into them, they're never going to buy into you, ever, ever. If they think you don't care about them as people, even though we say it's not personal, it's just work, at the end of the day, if they think you don't care about them personally, they will never buy into you as a leader. And I think that's what
Yes.
you are also saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand also that there needed to be a level of transparency for me as a leader.
Yes.
And I think that's huge. I think as leaders, sometimes we have to always feel like we're in a sense perfect.
Yes.
in control.
I don't make mistakes, and this is what and as a leader, I've said, many a times, hey, my fault.
All right.
That was my mistake.
or
it's
to
okay.
even,
It's okay to acknowledge that.
be able to admit that, I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I don't
know the
know.
answer.
And honestly, I'm depending on them because that's what they do day to day. I
Absolutely.
value their opinion and what they think.
That's so important because I think another thing is our pride sometimes doesn't allow us, right, to say when we like I'm wrong or I don't know or I am leaning on you, right? That we feel like as the leader that there's an expectation for us to know it all, and that's not true.
Right.
I don't know your seat. I am looking at you to be the expert, and what that does is empowers them. But when we don't allow that to happen, now we really remove the expertise that they have, all of the given talents that they have, and now we're boxing them in to say that you're only allowing me to be as successful as you want me to be and not as successful as I can be.
Wow. That's truth right there. That's
Very
truth
deep.
right there.
Yeah. Let that sink in.
Let
you
that
guys.
sink in for a
Let
minute.
that sink
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah.
So Edgar, I think what you do as far as
love
just
that.
just
I love
just
it.
teaching and training various corporations, as you mentioned, I think that's vital because there has to be an acknowledgement that there is a level of training that has to happen. It's just not a matter of now you're a
Stepping into a
manager and
position.
you're supposed to know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And I think it requires folks like yourself to say, hey, these are some of the. Don't just try to skip over here. These steps before that is really important.
Yes.
So someone coming to you and is a new leader, and I wish I had known that resources such as yourself were available when I started in a leadership position, because oftentimes we're looking at leaders around us. Hopefully they're leading by example, hopefully.
Right.
And you're basically mimicking what you see or what you've seen in the past. But if someone wants to be proactive, they're in a new position, how do they get the help that you offer? What is the first step, and what does that look like?
I think the first step is being vulnerable and saying, I want to be a successful leader.
Yeah.
I want to be able to fulfill this role in the best way that I possibly can, but I understand that I need to learn some things beforehand. So to me, that shows that they truly want it. Right. They want to be the best for themselves. They want to be the best for their team. They want to be the best for the organization.
Right.
And so taking that step to say, like, let me be led as a leader.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be led. Like, somebody I need guidance as well. I need some assistance along this journey. And being able to come and say, like, okay, what can we do to help me better lead my team? So for me, then it's like, okay, let's first understand you, who you are. What is your desire for even being in this role?
Right.
Was it for power? Was it for money? Do you really care about people? Right? And being able to look at those things and say, let's take a step back from the business, all right? And let's get a little personal with you first. And then understanding who you are as a person, Now, why did we want to get into this? Let's learn your styles and also understand that you can't take a blanket approach. We figure out our style, right? And we say this should work for everyone. Well, the way that I talk with Will is not the way that I talk with Key.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so I got to be able to relate to you as individuals. And I think as a leader, being able to understand how to shift gears and how to deal with different personalities, how to approach people, how to have effective conversation with different people on my team, being able to understand those things will really be able to allow you to be an effective leader and not just, hey, I had the title.
Right.
I love what you said about you have to be vulnerable enough to even think that or know that you need that help.
Yes.
Or that guidance. I love that. I hope that leaders out here who are new leaders, even seasoned leaders, will take a moment to say, you know what, maybe there's some things that I could brush up on, or things that I could learn, things that I can learn about myself, and reach out for some guidance and some assistance.
Yeah.
So I think it's never too late.
I think that's true. I think what you just said, Key, about even seasoned leaders.
Yeah.
I think
Very true.
we're always learning. And to think that, oh, I've been there, done that, I've done the leader thing. It's like, no. You have to stay plugged into the people, as Edgar just mentioned, because if you don't, you could miss something. I think we're always learning. We're always learning from each other, and we're always learning from the people, even on our team. I look for, folks we work with. I'm learning from you. They're like, man, you're. I'm like, no, I'm learning from you as we speak.
Yeah.
I'm taking little tidbits from you, just like you're taking tidbits from me. I'm learning from you as well. And we have to always be in that learning mode.
I also, as a leader myself, I feel like some vulnerable moment for me. I feel like sometimes we work so hard. We're critical thinkers. We've got to think outside the box. We've got to make our teams successful, and we've got to bring new and innovative ideas forward and make them happen. And I feel like often, myself, I can speak for myself. I'm looking for, thank you. Oh, we appreciate you, Key. Oh, you did a great job, Key. Yeah.
That may or may not happen.
Right.
It rarely happens. It rarely happens.
Yeah. I was just going to say real quick is just that's part of it. I mean,
Exactly.
what we do is what we do
Yeah.
as leaders, and it's oftentimes a thankless job.
It is.
But I think when you enjoy what you do and you're doing it for the right reasons, you just got to take it at that face value.
What are your thoughts about that, though?
Yeah, I would say that's the other part to me of the people development. So it's not just me coming in to help develop leaders and helping leaders to communicate better with their teams. It's also helping the team communicate better with their leader.
Ooh, okay.
And understanding that,
I love that.
allowing the leader and being comfortable when the leader says that I'm taking time off, right? You know what I'm saying?
Egg, I need you to say that one more time, brother. Say that one more time, brother. Say it one more time for the people. You gotta be comfortable with saying it's okay to take time off.
Be okay with comfortable. The leader needs to be okay with saying that I am taking time off, and the team needs to be confident and comfortable in the fact that the leader is. That is a part of leading by example, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then also understanding that the leader is a human person that may have challenges of their own. And so based on that, understanding that yes, we look for the leader to carry that power and that positivity on a regular basis. But when you understand that you are in this together with the leader, are you not removed, again, leading from your lane? Can you not step in the role of a leader and say, is there anything that I can do to assist you?
Wow.
And I think that is a sign of a successful leader.
That's true.
That I can go on vacation for 2 weeks and they don't skip a beat.
They're not afraid to step up.
That is a sign, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
that you're an awesome leader.
Some leaders,
Yeah.
and I had to get over this myself again. I'm talking from experience
Yes.
and and the mistakes that I've made. Like, I don't want to lead because
Right.
it can't go on without me.
Exactly. Yes.
And if it does go on without me, then do they need me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they need me?
To be okay with that.
Sure.
You got to be okay with
I
it.
think a
Being
true leader,
transparent.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Edgar. I think a true leader has to be, to me, that's the goal.
It is.
You know, and I tell managers
the
who
goal.
work with me, I say, hey, you should be able to take a week off. If the ship don't go and you're not something's wrong. That means
You have not
created
That's right. Absolutely.
the leaders that you need to create, because I
Yes.
think we always need to be developing leaders
Yes.
As leaders.
as leaders. Yeah,
Yes.
that's key, and
Yeah.
I think that has to be the case where the goal is to be able to step out and things still move.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a quality leader.
And one way I say that we have to step out, right, is because as a leader, I say that there's three things that you're constantly doing. It's either pouring, pushing, or pulling.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you're either pouring into an individual, right, when the
Yes.
person is,
Yeah.
they're having challenges themselves, right? It may be from a personal standpoint. They're just not feeling it. So you're pouring into them, or you're pulling something out of them, right? Encouraging them, like, I know, like, you can do more, or you're pushing them to the next level, saying, like, I see greater for you. All three of those take something physically from you, right? Those are physical acts that we're doing. At some point, if you do not replenish yourself,
That's right.
like, you're no good at
You're
this
depleted.
point. You're depleted.
You're depleted.
So those three acts are something as a leader that we're constantly doing. And we have to understand that at some point, it requires for us to re-energize, replenish, and recharge. But if you never help develop other leaders, you'll never be at the place to where you feel like it's okay for me to replenish, recharge, right?
Right.
And take that time off.
Right. That's a word. How does ethics play into leadership? Because corporate America is corporate America, and I think a lot of us who are very ethical, we try to make sure we're doing things and making sure we're talking about people, make sure people are treated right, things of that nature, the policies, procedures. But we know corporate America is what it is. There's things that happen in corporate America that may not be necessarily fair or ethical that goes on.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about that, and how does one stay the course?
That is such a great question, because it can get challenging. And I realize, and I'm going to be totally honest with you now, I have a responsibility for the place that God has put me in. My answer is to him first.
Absolutely.
Right? So for me, now it starts to clear the way a little bit more. When it comes down to it, who am I? Like, take away the title, take away me being in this environment. If you see me for who I am, have I treated you fairly? Have I done the right thing by you?
Right.
Not because we're in corporate, but because I it's me.
Right.
Right. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I tell people, like, this me in the grocery store, this Edgar at the football game, this Edgar in corporate, because it's hard being two people. So I'm going to just make it easy on myself and be one.
Yeah.
Right. So, but in regards to the fact of the integrity piece, here is where I go with, I had to create a level of transparency with my team, which at times meant going against the grain with the organization. Because, there's some times where they'll say, hey, this is the information we're sharing in this closed meeting. If it's going to be to the detriment of my people, though, and this organization not going to burn down, I'm sharing that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sharing
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
and that's something. But when they started to understand, my upper leadership started to understand my leadership style, they realized that this is how he effectively leads his team. He's not doing anything damaging here, but there is going to be a level of transparency that he has created and it is expected from his team, right?
Yes.
So they know when they have the trust in me, they understand that I'm their voice in rooms that they're not in. But if I can't create that level of transparency and operate in integrity, they don't get that. So for me, it is, I'll give you an example. Like, I had a team member one time, I said, look, I tried to get the promotion. Like I put in for it for you. And they were just upset. No. So I showed it to them. I showed them the write-up. I said, this is what I gave them.
Right.
Yeah.
That then, in their mind, they say he's for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He's for me.
Absolutely.
Now, with my leaders, did they want me to show that? Maybe not. But the company it's still standing.
It's still standing.
Right?
It's still ending.
But it created a bond and a trust with that individual on my team. So now they know he's for me.
He's for me.
I it wasn't because of him I didn't get it. And guess what? That person said, I got to take ownership now. And they stepped up to the plate. Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes down to that, it is understanding like doing right by people. And the reason why I'm willing to go and do right by people, even when it goes against the grain, is because I have an understanding of who like placed me in this position and who I have a responsibility to, which is greater than the organization.
Any person.
That's huge. That's huge.
Any human being.
So, Edgar, I got to say, what led you to writing? Is this your first book? Which is this your first?
Yes.
I know there's many more to come because this brother got so much knowledge. Listen, this guy right here created this book called Clarify, Construct, and Control Your Career. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a quick read.
Yes.
And what led you to write this book?
Again, just the challenges that I had went through and understanding that I have a roadmap that I can give people. So why let them go on the journey, right, without having, the roadmap?
Why struggle if you can help people along?
Yes.
And they can learn from your past experiences. I love that. Give back.
To give back.
Give back.
So it wasn't about money. It wasn't about, and I'm going to be verbal communication is my thing. Writing, that's not my thing.
Right.
But I knew that I had to get this out because I don't get the opportunity to stand in front of people and have a verbal conversation with them. But if it's in a book, they can pick that up at any time.
Awesome. So how do they get this book?
It's on Amazon, but it's also on my website at edgarbutlerjr.com.
Edgar Butler, that's easy. edgarbutlerjr.com. Listen, I got to tell y'all about this. This is a beautiful, it's a quick read, but it's packed with so much knowledge. I'm gonna have you sign this before you leave, brother.
Yes.
I'm like, I got the author.
I was gonna say, do we get to keep this?
No. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Edgar. I mean, this is beautiful, man, and I think what you're doing for individuals, personally, for corporations, I think is just huge. And I think what we talked about is just something that I wish we had. Yeah. Coming up, in our careers.
I really love what you said, that you're guided by, and your work ethic is about something bigger than any human or any person or any corporation. I appreciate that because I feel like so often in corporate America, we are, so driven to meet a goal, to meet a metric. Sometimes by any means necessary. Yep. But at the end of the day, we have to answer to someone bigger than us, and we got to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror the next day.
Absolutely.
And as an ethical person and someone that has to answer to my mother who brought me up in the church, you got to
play with Essie. Don't play with Essie.
You just got to think about those things, that sometimes we have to make bigger and better decisions than what corporate is guiding us, and that's a balance. And I know that's tough. So I appreciate what you offer. I want people to reach out to you for some help, some guidance as leaders, especially as new leaders and even as seasoned leaders. You guys, take advantage of the resources that are available to us to lead better. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to make us more successful.
Absolutely.
So
Awesome. Well, Edgar, I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you for the invite.
This has been amazing,
yes,
and I think
appreciate you.
We talked about your website, edgarbutlerjr.com. Are you on LinkedIn or
any social media platforms?
Yes, mainly on LinkedIn. That's where I do most of the posts and things, just trying to continue to encourage people. So, but I just want to thank you all for having me on the show. But also just everything that you're doing. Like, you all are an inspiration for me. Awesome. And so I'm blessed to be able to call you friends and fam. So
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Edgar.
Definitely that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, Edgar Butler, y'all. If you didn't know, now you know. Check him out on LinkedIn. Go to his website and pick this up. Pick this up. Pick this up.
You
It's
will only be
amazing.
blessed by it.
You will only be
You
blessed.
will only be blessed by it.
Man, thank you, Edgar.
Thank
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother.
We appreciate you. We love you, and we are family.
Yes.
So, looking forward to having you and Dawn over for dinner.
Gotta
Absolutely,
do it.
absolutely. All right, you guys.
Key and Will, listen.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. The More You Know podcast. It's on once again. The more you know, baby.
When you know better, you do better, guys.
Key and Will, let's get it.